Hello and welcome to Sammy Spotlight. I'm your host, Austin Patrick, and today we have a fantastic show coming up, so stay tuned. And joining us today, we have Jenna Oakley, the Vice President of Crime Victim Services Alliances. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. So, Jenna, tell us about yourself.
So I'm a criminal justice major with a minor in forensics, and I am the Vice President of CVSA, and we're very active on campus. And so aside of all the things that I do, all crazy all over the place, I'm with them all the time.
So for people who don't know, can you tell us what a CVSA is?
So CVSA is a very active organization on campus, and we reach out to sexual assault and domestic violence victims, and we also help them out by partnering with Safe House, and we volunteer at Safe House 2 times a week, and we table constantly all the time, and just kind of bringing that extra reassurance to victims that they can reach out not only to us if they need to for resources, but also to Safe House and to Title IX on campus.
And does your organization have a mission statement?
Yes, so basically our mission statement, it is pretty long, so I don't know word for word, but basically our mission statement is to say that we do need to reach out to domestic violence and sexual assault victims and allow them to know that their voice is heard and it is valid what they are saying, and that we have the resources to help them to get their voice heard.
And so how are y'all involved on campus?
So like I said, we do a lot of tabling events, and I think this is a great way to reach out to give people who may have questions or victims the opportunity to come up to us and ask us questions or get different resources from us. So not only do we just table, but we also hold at least one major organizational project a semester. And last semester, our biggest organizational project was the Clothesline Project, and I'm sure a lot of people saw that. It was very, very successful, and we're very proud of the way it came out. And basically, the Clothesline Project discussed sexual assault and domestic violence victims and victims of many different offenses that, of course, they were not at fault for. And so all in the LSC yard, we hung up a bunch of shirts with different stories and statements that victims had written. And it was very big and very awesome. And this semester, we're coming up with Denim Day, which is a stand against sexual assault. And there will be, it will be the same statement just as the Clothesline Project, but with denim. So yeah.
Is there a planned date for the Denim Day?
We don't have a planned date yet, but it will be in April, and we'll announce that on our social media once it does come out.
All right. And then you said people come up to you with questions. What's the most frequent questions you receive?
Probably the most frequent question, and so last semester I was historian for CVSA, and then I moved up to vice president this semester, and probably one of the most frequent questions that we have seen around is, what can I do? And which is a very vague question, and it can be answered in a million ways. And definitely us as an executive board, we're not licensed to give proper feedback or like information, but we do have the resources for people who are licensed and do know what they're doing. And so we just fully without trying to get in their business or kind of overstepping our bounds, we ask them what they want to do, because ultimately it is the victim's decision of what they want to do and how they want to handle it. And so in any situation that we don't know what to do, we do direct them to Safe House because they're absolutely amazing there. So yeah.
And so do y'all work with Safe House directly? Like, how often do you work with them?
Yeah, we work with Safe House quite a bit, and that's definitely what we're known for. I would say we go to Safe House about twice a week, sometimes even 3 times a week. And when we do go, we just go to help with whatever they possibly need. I think people tend to forget how busy Safe House is, because they do a lot, and it's absolutely amazing. And so we do believe in what they do. And so we try to help out with as much as we can, whether it's working in their retail shop or simply just unloading boxes, or sometimes some of our members, if they do decide to go through the full training, whether it's training of 30 hours or 40 hours, they get to work with children or actual victims one-on-one. But rather than that, sometimes we just go through regular volunteering just to help them with whatever they need.
And then can anybody join y'all's organization?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that we're very proud of is we're not just held down to criminal justice majors or minors. We believe that victims don't have to just be helped by criminal justice majors. And so that's why we open our organization up to all majors and all minors. And our members are pretty diverse with their majors and minors. And so nobody will at all feel out of place with our memberships. Yeah.
So if students wanted to help y'all, what would the process be like?
Simply just coming to our meetings. We're very carefree and of course organized, but we're not super strict. So we do ask that if anybody does want to join our organization, that you just come over to our general meetings every Tuesday in room 116 in the LSC, and we can get you started with your process. And it just consists of community service hours, small dues, and basically just helping out with whatever they can help out with.
And then how can non-students help? Non-SAM students?
Non-students, we've actually been reached out by many non-students and also online students that don't come on campus. And we do offer the help for them to come with us to Safe House if they would like to help with community service hours. Because of course, like I said, Safe House is always in need of help, and there's so much to do and so much work to put into it. And so we definitely stand by the idea of having every helping hand. And so, of course, if anybody does have any questions, whether they're non-students or students, they can always direct message us on Instagram, and our historian's awesome, so she'll definitely answer.
And so what are the duties like working with Safe House?
Working with Safe House, it's honestly whatever they may need help with. Duties can be all across the line. They can be helping with the front desk, or this past week we did work in the resale shop with them, and so we were selling clothes and kind of helping organize boxes, or sometimes they'll get new shipments of different stuff, and so we'll just get this big truckload and be helping with unloading boxes and stuff like that. And so it can honestly vary. Sometimes the jobs seem like super hard, like a lot of hard work, and sometimes it's super easy, but I think they like us a lot because we do come over and help quite a bit, but it's honestly whatever they may need help with, and it can range all over the place.
Does Safe House have any events? Or?
They do have quite a few events. We keep up with their events as best as we can. I believe the next event is the Safe House Bingo Night, and I believe people come over to like win prizes and stuff, and I believe that's this coming Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so the victims, is it mostly domestic violence and abuse, or can you help anybody?
We can help anybody. We do specialize in domestic violence and sexual assault just because we do know a lot more resources for that. But like I said, when we did the clothesline project, there were victims of all kinds of offenses and of all sorts. And so we are trying our best to expand our resources the best that we can. And we do have quite a few of them, which we're very proud to say, because we don't want to just leave our resources selective, especially when there's many people that need help out there. So definitely, as far as sexual assault and domestic violence, we do have many, many resources. But if any victims have any questions at all, they can come to us, and simply, if we don't have an answer, we can direct them to the person who does. So yeah.
And then, so what are some of your resources that you have? We
do talk a lot, of course, about Safe House because we are very, very proud of their mission statement, and we know what they're doing because we've been in there firsthand. And so when we see a domestic violence or sexual assault survivor or victim who needs help, we reach them out to Safe House directly because we know what's going to happen within those walls. Whereas if you send them somewhere that you don't know exactly what's happening there. And so I think that would be our biggest resource is Safe House, because not only are we partnered with them, but we do know what they do. And so we do know the Women's Health Center. I believe it's in Conroe? I could be totally wrong. There's so many little cities around us. But it's in Montgomery. That's where it is. We have partnered with them before as well, and so we have resources with them as well. So we have a lot. There's so many to keep up with, but definitely we constantly talk about Safe House because they are amazing there. They're great people.
And is there a hotline or?
Yes, there is a hotline with Safe House. I don't know the number directly, but like I said, on our Instagram, we have so much information on there. And so we have a link tree, and that has absolutely everything that you could think of. And so we definitely direct people there if they have any questions, or the number for the hotline for Safe House is on our link tree as well.
And so can you tell us about your social media, how they can find it?
Yeah, of course. So we're on Instagram and Twitter. We're very, very active on Instagram, as I'm sure everybody is. But you can find us on Instagram for CVSA SHSU. And then you'll be able to follow us and keep up with our updates and know when to come to our meetings. We also do have a lot of guest speakers during the month, every month. So we do suggest that people come to our guest speaker events. I believe either this month or next month, we'll be having a SANE nurse come in talking about what she does. And so I believe people will find that really helpful.
Can you share some of the stories from these guest speakers?
As far as guest speakers, I think our biggest event that we had was Rebecca Carey, and we got the College of Criminal Justice to come in and help us with that as well. And she discussed her firsthand experience as being a survivor of human trafficking. And it was a very, very touching story. And she also has her own organization that helps with people who are going through the same thing. And so I think that was probably the biggest event that we've ever had, just because you can bring a guest speaker in to talk about different things like that, but it's a lot different when you hear it from somebody who's been through it firsthand. And I think not only victims, but people who may be approached by victims can be helped by that by a lot. And not only do we have like big guest speaker events like that, but we also have like the victim studies teachers come in and professors to come and speak to us because they've of course worked in the field, and so they have firsthand stories. So yeah, definitely our guest speakers we have a lot of amazing guest speakers. So, and if people are interested, they can go back on our Instagram and see who we've had before.
And these professors, do they go to SAM, or are they all over? Okay.
Yes. So we completely leave the board open to other professors coming if they would like to, but we definitely have a lot of SAM professors come in from the Victim Studies Department to talk, because it is more personable when somebody from your own school is coming to talk.
That's nice. Yeah. And then, so do you have any volunteer stories for the viewers?
Volunteer stories. As far as working with victims, I've never done it before, because you do have to be trained and you have to put in a lot of training hours to do that. But I know that our past president, Zacchaeus, he works at Safe House, and I'm sure he has a million stories, and he's awesome, and he's all over the campus. And I know Anastasia has also done the exact same thing, our president now. So if anybody has questions as far as victim stories, they could ask them. Of course, I don't want to say anything that a victim may not want to talk about, and I don't want to disclose any information. But as far as talking to see who's involved and what kind of victims have approached us, definitely talk to Anastasia about that. She's awesome. So yeah.
And then I know you mentioned the training process. Mm-hmm. Is it volunteer hours, or is there a class you have to take?
So there's actual classes that you do have to take. I believe when you work with kids, there is a longer process, because you are working with kids who are more impressionable, and they do have a lot of emotional trauma. And so that is a lot more as far as training and stuff like that. And it's, of course, you have to do training when you're working with adults and not just kids. And so it honestly just depends which area you want to go in. But when you work firsthand with victims, you do have to go through training just so you know what to say, how to react to certain situations, just because there is already a lot of trauma with these individuals, and we need to, of course, treat them with kindness the best that we possibly can and help them as much as we can.
You mentioned areas. Is it kids and then women, or? So
this is at Safe House, there's no men, there's no male victims at this facility. So it's whether it's women that have been through human trafficking, or whether it's kids, and then it also ranges with age. So we give they give a lot of training within say ages 1 through 4 or 5 through 6. So there's a lot of options, and there's a lot of training, because of course this is one of those things that you do have to tread lightly with. So it's honestly whatever you would like to specialize in. But you can always go to Safe House if you would like to have any more information.
All right. And before we end the show, is there anything you want to say to those who may be afraid to come forward with their experiences?
Yeah, of course. If you are afraid to come forward as a victim, that's completely understandable because this is a scary time. But we do recommend that you come to us or you come to Safe House if you have any questions, because we are completely welcoming you with open arms, and we're here to listen without any judgment at all.
Thank you. And that is all we have time for this week. Thank you for joining us with the CVSA. And tune in next week to Sammy Spotlight. Thank you.